Can you hear me?
Yep.
Cool. I'm just making sure that we're recording, and we'll give it 1 minute. Okay, I think we're ready to get started. Hi everyone, I'm Natalie. Thank you for hopping on. Yes, you are all muted, but if by chance you become unmuted, just mute yourself again. There is a chat happening on the side. I've just noticed when you're chatting, you can select to direct it to panelists or panelists and attendees. So direct it to all attendees as well, guys, so that everyone can come on and help with the questions. We'll be on answering questions, but if we can't answer them all, at least that way, the other attendees can come on, and we'll keep an eye on that chat as it's going. How is this going to run? This is the Empowered Success training that is being launched throughout Australia at the moment with a lot of in-person events, and I wanted to get an online version happening because a lot of my team are rural, so they can't get to the in-person events. So this is why it's happening. Like I said, it's being recorded, so it's going to be a resource that we, as well as all of you guys, can use. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to start. We've got Adam here, so we're going to start with him. He's going to go first, and he's going to run through how to do a nature solution class. We're not actually going to be doing a nature solutions class, and the reason why we're not doing that is because of time. We want to keep this, you know, we're aiming for 2 hours. So what we plan to do is when we master, well, as we learn, we're still learning, when we get a bit better at this new class, we're going to actually record a class as well, and we'll get that available to all of you as well. But Adam's going to be talking through how to run the class. Then we've got Jonathan doing the live guide. Then we've got Holly doing the build guide, and I'm going to finish with the share guide. We're hoping about 25 to 30 minutes each. I think that's all I had to tell you. Actually, I know we're going to have hundreds of questions. Where are these guides? So you can at the moment download them from Australia and New Zealand doTERRA websites. In terms of when they're going to be available on the back office to purchase in hard copy, put it this way, we're checking all the time, so we're expecting them very, very soon. So it shouldn't be much longer. I think we're ready to go, Adam. So we'll just go Adam's screen sharing, and he'll kick us off. I'll unmute him.
Okay, how are we all today? Thank you very much for joining us on this webinar. Let me get everything fired up for us. Okay, so it's my pleasure to actually go through the actual new class handout with you. This is something that Jonathan and I have run a few classes over the last few weeks with real live people and real live enrollments. We had some enrollments last night off this new format. And as Natalie said, you know, they've been running this in America for quite a long time now. But we're all finding different ways that it's going to work in our market and work for us. So I'm going to share some of the tips and how I've been going through it, and Jonathan has been going through it. And we want you to take what we share, see what works for you, use the guide and different things, and you'll learn to ice your own cake your own way type of thing. But I want to give you the recipe today. So one of the biggest changes here in Australia and New Zealand is we're now changing to, instead of focusing on the Home Essentials Kit, focusing on the Nature Solutions Kit. Now, this for some people may kind of stir a little bit of worry, panic, or anxiety. And the reason being for that is because, yes, it is a higher price point. And the first thing I want to encourage you to think about is I don't want you running your classes spending other people's money with your own wallet. Or if that makes sense, don't try and make decisions on what they can afford and what they can't. What we've found is some people will go for the Nature Solutions Kit, others will go for the Home Essentials Kit, others for the Essential Collection. But we had some really interesting feedback last night as someone went with the Home Essentials Kit, but she goes, but there's a few things in that other kit that I really want to get and pop on my LRP. One of the great things about this new format is we're now introducing people to other products beyond the oils. Because for the longevity of our business, we know that we're not going to, people don't need to buy oils every single month for the rest of their life, but they do need to replace their supplements, their toothpaste, their hand washes and different things like that. So you'll see as we go through today that we're going to be focusing more on the nature solutions, but and you'll see how that unfurls along the way type of thing. So this is what the new handout will look like. As Natalie said before, it's going to be, this will be available on our back office. We can download it at the moment, but it's going to be a hard, we will have the hard copy, and I'm pretty certain it will come with the wild oranges, just like the old empowerment packs came. So what I do to start off the class is I love people, everyone sits in a corner, sits in a circle, and I will hand these out first of all. I make a bit of a joke about it, that I'm a Gemini, I talk really fast, and all the other star signs need this to keep up with me type of thing. So put your personality into this. Remember, people don't buy the oils just for the oils, they get in joining a community with yourself as well. So what I like to do as I hand this out as well is I briefly take a second to go through the whole guide as well. Because basically no matter how old everyone there with you is, they're all like naughty 8-year-olds and they'll all start flicking with curiosity if you don't go through it. So basically I explain that we go through the first few pages and this is what we're going to go through today, and that they can take this home with them. So they don't have to feel they have to write down everything. I then explain that we also have the kits in there, and I go through each page and just kind of say, this is what it is. When I get to the prices, I explain that they'll find 2 prices, and that if they want to look at a price, to look at the bold one, which is a wholesale price, which is the one that we're going to sort out for them at the end of the class as well. So I'm going to go through each bit of the guide and talk about a few little tips on how I would share it, and kind of explain how the guide works. So this is the front page. And the top bit, after introducing myself, and I tell a little bit about my story. So I will say, my name is Adam Barrelay. I've been involved with doTERRA essential oils for 5 years. I say I was always a bit of a hippie and I had essential oils around my house. I put them in an oil burner, I learned massage, and I used them in massage, and I thought that's all they were for. But when I was introduced to doTERRA, I actually started to learn that essential oils can have a massive impact on your health. I talk a little bit about my health experiences and the great changes I experienced, as well as those of my family as well. And explain that now full-time I teach and travel full-time about these oils because I love them so much, and thank everyone for coming. And I also like to ask, by starting off the question, because today we're going to talk mainly about your health, how important is your health? And the ultimate answer I lead people to is it is the most important thing. And we do a little bit of a reflection on how in modern society at the moment we kind of tackle health. And I love this part of the guide that they popped in. The modern approach is basically that we wait until something goes wrong and then we try and cover up the symptoms. You know, think about when we get a headache or something like that. What tablet will fix that? Or I've got a bellyache or anything like that. What tablet will fix that? But as we know, when we're not actually dealing with the cause, we're just covering up the symptoms. And that's what a lot of medications and pharmaceuticals will do. The other thing is, this is a fascinating fact that popped on this page. $6.5 trillion a year is spent on global healthcare. And are we getting any healthier? And I don't think we are. You know, I believe this generation will actually die younger than their parents. That's the first generation in many generations because of the lifestyles that we're living. So the choices that we have, and something that I want to present to this group today, is a holistic approach. We're looking at the root causes of the body and what's actually causing these ailments or discomforts and different things like that, and how we can actually use essential oils which are extracted from plants, and we can use them in a natural way to support our body. If we can bring our systems up to be of optimum well-being and health, we're not going to have all these little hiccups coming where we need to go foraging for something in the back of a cupboard that's going to cover up that symptom. I hope that makes sense. So then we move down the guide, and these are the middle two bits you'll find on the front page. And I talk about, you know, what are essential oils. So essential oils are basically the part of a plant. Sometimes they're found in the roots or the bark or the wood or the flowers or the leaves. And this is what the plant uses to keep itself healthy and protect itself from basically nasties. And humans have found ways to extract these essential oils and actually use them for our own well-being as well. Now, the amazing thing about essential oils is you only need a couple of drops to get a really powerful punch. For example, the peppermint oil that I'm going to pass around in a few moments, one drop of peppermint oil has the same effect as 28 cups of peppermint tea. So one of the great things about the essential oils is you only need a small amount to get a really powerful effect. This is really important to kind of point out at this point as well, because one thing that people may realize is, wow, doTERRA's essential oils seem to be on the higher price point compared to others. But there's 250 drops in that bottle, and you only need 1 or 2 drops at a time. So it's actually, you know, basically it says there, it's pennies per dose for what you actually need. I also like to explain the doTERRA difference. This is something I'm really passionate about. So how I explain this is exactly what I'd say. I'd say, what you need to know is not all essential oils are the same. For example, you can go down to the supermarket or the chemist, and you'll be able to find a range of essential oils for, you know, about $10 or so. You can probably go down to a rural area, and there's some lady who's got some lavender growing out the back, and she's made that into essential oil as well. And then there's doTERRA. doTERRA is now the largest essential oil company in the world, and there's a couple of reasons I really, really love them. The first reason is what they do is they grow their plants in 48 countries around the world, because what they've found is that you can get the same lavender plant, and you could plant some in Tasmania, you could plant some in the USA, and you can plant some in France and Bulgaria. And even though these are exactly the same species of plant, the essential oil that comes out of them will be totally different. And time again, they've found that when it's grown in its native country, the oil is far superior, and that's why they choose to do that. Now, they don't own land in those countries. They actually work with local farmers. Some of these have been working with this plant and have a big, in-depth passion and knowledge of this plant for many, many years. And doTERRA supports them, gives them the training, the facilities to get the best essential oil out of them as well. The other thing I love about doTERRA is that in 23 of these countries, they're third world or developing countries. doTERRA doesn't just go in there and get their essential oils. They make a difference to those people's lives. So they help to build schools, they do a disaster relief, they help with medical, they do a whole range of different things. And I won't do it today, but this is where I'll tell about my journey to Nepal and seeing the difference they make there. And I think this is a really great opportunity to just touch on either Days for Girls or OUR or one of the other charity things that really seem to, because this is a big thing that separates doTERRA from every other essential oil company in the world, is the difference they make around the world. So we also do have a therapeutic grade essential oil. It talks about here, you can see on the right hand side that there's a lot of them are synthetic, and what's in the bottle is actually not from that plant. Some are used for food grade, and then there's these doTERRA ones. What makes doTERRA so special is they do 15 different tests on all batches of their essential oils to make sure that what's in that bottle is 100% from that plant. Now, some of these are done by doTERRA in-house and others are done by third parties so that we can feel comfortable using these oils each and every day. And the great thing about this is this opens up how many different uses we can use for the essential oils, which leads me to the bottom part of the first page. This is a really great section, and this is where we get to have some fun. So basically, because the oils are so safe, we can now feel comfortable using them in different ways. And I'm going to give people different demonstrations how to do this. Now, what I tend to do when I'm talking about the difference of the essential oils is I'll actually pass around the wild orange. I talk about how much I love wild orange, and I get them to put a drop in their hand, and I ask them to smell that. And I just say, what do you notice from that? Just give me some words that come into your mind, or what's the effect of that? And when we did this class last night, people were saying uplifted, happy, joyous, relieved, different things like that. I said, isn't that one of the most amazing things about essential oils? We're going to talk about how to support our physical body, but you can actually do amazing things for your emotional well-being as well. Especially here in the Southern Hemisphere when we're in the midst of winter and it's a bit gloomy and cold, wild orange is a beautiful one to just put in your hands and just bring you that little uplift, and it's as easy as that. So now I want to give you a few other examples of how you can use the essential oils in your day-to-day life. So then what I do is I pass around the peppermint. I get them to put a drop of that on their hands. I say, when you smell it, just be careful not to get too close to your eyes. Give them a little bit of a warning. And, I say, don't worry, I know we're mixing it with the wild orange, but that's a really nice blend when you can pop in diffusers and different things like that. And they smell that, and they get that awakening effect. I share about, we all get tired. I like to ask questions. And the more you can ask questions in a class, the more effective it's going to be for you. I say, who gets a little bit sleepy around 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon and starts becoming like a hungry beast looking for a coffee or a chocolate or some sugary treat? I'm like, well, instead of using that thing that we know isn't quite good for us to pick us up, you can use peppermint. And so everyone gets to experience that right there and then. I also explain how peppermint can stop those sugar cravings, and also talk how it's really nice and cooling as well, and how we can use that to help with our well-being as well. So I also will touch very briefly here and point to the diffuser and go, we can also diffuse the oil. So you can pop them in your hand or you can put them in the diffuser. And this is a really nice ritual to start the day off with. And I'll work out, how does our whole household want to feel today? Do we need a bit of grounding and we've got nice soothing oils, or do we need a bit of uplifting? Like maybe the peppermint and the wild orange that I've just showed you as well. So then what I do is I say, the other thing, because these oils are so natural and so pure, we can feel comfortable putting them on the body. Now, we give you some guides when you become a member. We're already putting in their mind that they're becoming a member, that are going to show you how to safely use all of your oils, but let us all try a little demonstration right now. So what I do is, we've been passing around the fractionated coconut oil, and they put a small squirt of fractionated coconut oil in their hand, and then we get the ice blue. And I just say, rub that together, and I just rub that on your neck or on your shoulders, or if you've got any other bits that are a bit stiff at the moment, then give that a shot as well. I then talk about ice blue is really great for, if you just get an occasional ache or something, you overdid it at the gym or gardening or walking or dancing or something like that. Or for people that have ongoing, issues where they're a bit stiff, then this can be really, really supportive as well. And what they're actually starting to experience is how they're putting it on their skin. Now, the other great thing about doTERRA's essential oils is that you can actually use it as a food additive, or you can take it internally. And what we have been doing is, we will always have a jug of water on a table in the middle of the circle, already with the lemon essential oil in it. And that normally when people have the water, they comment on that straight away. And we've been getting great feedback. So I say, lemon is you've already tried one of the oils, and it's that easy. Just add to water and make water a bit more flavoursome. I talk about the benefits of lemon and how it's great for helping our body to detox. And, I talk about how it's easier than having to deal with squeezing a lemon. And that if you tell your dentist that you're having lemon juice and water every morning, that they'll actually ask you to stop, because it breaks down the enamel of your teeth. Sorry about that. This is also where we will talk about On Guard, because On Guard is an amazing essential oil. And here I'll talk about the benefits of that. I'll talk about how we will diffuse it every evening when we get home, when we're feeling a bit under the weather, we can use it topically on our feet and on our chest and so on. But this is where we also pass around On Guard apples. I hope you all know what On Guard apples are, but basically it involves slicing up red apples very thinly, soaking them in water with a drop or two of On Guard, and we pass that around. And so they get to taste that and yum, yum, yum and all that. This is what I love about this new format, which is really, really great. Because I found what a lot of us do is we pass around each of the oils and tell them what it's great for. And then they have to kind of use their imagination on what's going to happen. Do you see how we've already given people 5 different oil experiences? So before they come to the class, we try and get everyone to have a sample and have an oil experience. So within the first 15 to 20 minutes of you talking, they've already had 6 oil experiences. They've smelt the wild orange, they've smelt the peppermint, they've felt the effects of that. They'll notice that. They're starting to feel a bit of looseness in the muscles now, thanks to that ice blue. They've had the lemon water and they've had the On Guard apples. And you're showing them how easy it is to use these oils every day. People worry that they don't know what to do with the oils. And I'm sure some of you have maybe had members join and then you've spoken to them a couple of weeks later and you're like, oh, how are you going with your oils? And like, oh, I've opened the lavender. So this is kind of getting them using that straight away type of thing and actually experiencing it and really, really enjoying it. So then we turn over the page and this is a beautiful picture here and I love this. And I say, so the great thing about doTERRA is not just an essential oil company, they're a wellness company. And what we've done in our household now, this is kind of what our medicine cabinet looks like. That we've got rid of all those things that, you know, were a bit questionable and possibly aren't all natural and could have some toxins that actually affect our lives. And we've got this kind of stuff in our household that we can feel empowered that when we have a little bit of a a health issue or something like that, we've got something that we can handle with that. So you can see on this picture we've got some oils, but we've got some other great things as well, like the toothpaste. We've got the hand wash, which is great, the shampoo and conditioner, and the supplements, which I can't wait to tell you about in a little while. They're absolutely amazing. This is a really great page just to pause on for a second to be able to show people that it's not just all about oils. We want to start introducing them to the other products. And many of the products that you can see on this page are in our Australian and New Zealand Nature Solutions kit. So it's really good to just pause on that as well. Now we get to the most important part of the workshop. And so how I explain this, as I say, before I show you some of my other favorite oils and some that I think are absolutely going to be lifesavers in your home, I want you to take a moment to think about your own health and well-being. And I just want you to write down 3 things that you'd maybe want to feel less of, and then just have a little bit of think, and I give them some time to do that. And I'll throw out different ideas. I'll say, it may be something that affects you daily, weekly, monthly, certain times of the year. It might be to do with your respiratory system. In winter, do you have challenges when spring comes up? That type of thing. So start throwing out different ideas and different things to help them. I'll also say, if you're struggling for yourself, think about other people in your family as well. Do you have a snoring partner? Because that probably affects your well-being as well, and different things like that. So I prompt them to do that. Then I say, I want you to think, we always worry about what we don't want, what we don't want, what we don't want, what we don't want. But now take a little bit of and what would you like to feel more of? And give them some time to do that. Throw out some suggestions if you need to, and that type of thing as well. Once I've written that down, I then encourage people, and I ask the group, does anyone want to share anything that they'd like to feel less of, or like to do, or like to feel more of, and that type of thing? And they might go, oh, I always get, my partner snores, or oh, awesome, I've got something to tell you about that. And oh yeah, I'm lactose intolerant, so that really causes me grief. I'm like, cool, we'll talk about that as well. 2 reasons why we do this section and why I would really encourage you not to skip this section. First of all, it's really vitally important that our main job in this, when we're doing this presentation, is to help them recognize what their health issues are and then be a solutions provider for that. I've seen some people do some amazing presentations where they knew everything about every single oil. But what ended up happening is the people at the end, they hadn't made that connection between their health issues and the oils. And so what happened is they finished off by going, thank you so much for such an interesting presentation. I'm so glad the oils are helping you so much. So although we're going to share our stories, we're trying to relate back to them. The other great thing about asking feedback and asking people to share a little bit is that we want to, we can kind of steer the class wherever we need to go. So if we've got 5 people that all have IBS, then, we're going to talk about certain oils that are going to support them in that. So, it's no good talking about how great lavender is for getting your kids to sleep if there's no parents there, if everyone's single or something like that type of thing. So this gives you an idea of which points to kind of gauge towards and that type of thing as well. Now, one word of warning here. One problem we've run into is what we would do is we'd ask people what some of their complaints were, and then we go, awesome, let me tell you about this oil. Let me tell you about that oil. Don't do that. Do this whole section as one big section, and then we'll move on to talking about the oils next. Because what starts doing is not only are you starting to prescribe different oils for different people, but it becomes let's talk about mine, let's talk about mine, and it becomes a wildfire, and the class is really hard to contain and direct. So it's a really good idea just to do this bit. This will get them thinking about their health needs and you thinking about your health needs. So the framework for the rest of the class is let's find you some solutions. So this moves on to the section below this, and this is what I say here. So thank you so much for your sharing and your openness. It's really, really appreciated. Let me show you some solutions and some oils that are going to be really great in your home and are going to really help to support you with some of the things that you brought up. Notice my language there, and I'm talking about some of the things that are going to be in your home that are going to help you, that type of thing as well. We're constantly wanting to plant different seeds about them getting familiar with using these oils, paying wholesale and all that type of thing, just to get that framework so they feel comfortable with that and that type of thing. Now, as you see, there's a list of 11 oils, and I do not recommend that you go through all these 11 oils. The reason being, if you do this, your class is going to drag out too long, you're going to lose your audience, and it's just going to go kind of pear-shaped. So what we've chosen to do is we've chosen to go through the other home essentials oils. So what that is lavender, tea tree, and frankincense. We're omitting oregano unless we feel a big need for that. And then we also go through Easy Air and Digest Zen. And you can go through them, that you may want to go in order that they're listed or however you feel necessary on that type of thing. With each of these, what I will do is all you want to do is get one little fact and one little story. So let me give you an example for tea tree. So I say, this is tea tree. This is one of the 2 essential oils that we get from Australia all the time, and I absolutely love it. Tea tree is absolutely amazing for supporting your skin. It's great for insect bites and ant bites, rashes, scrapes, all those different types of things, pimples, acne, all that kind of thing. Put tea tree on you and we'll show you how to, you've already learned how to put the oils on topically. So this is really, really great. The other way that I love to use tea tree is I actually use it as a mouthwash. And the reason I do that is, this happened 5 years ago now, but I live in a wine region in Western Australia and always doing random breath testing at different times of the day. So at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I brushed my teeth, I used a commercial mouthwash, jumped in the car, went round 2 corners and got pulled over by the police. Got random breath tested, and the next question was, when was the last time you had a drink, my friend? And I was like, 2 or 3 nights ago now, I think. He's like, you sure? I'm like, yeah. It's like, you've blown over 0.05. And I could still taste that minty taste in my mouth. And I said, does mouthwash have an impact on your machines? And he goes, yeah, that would have been it. So although we spit mouthwashes out, one of the fastest ways to get things up through our blood-brain barrier and different things like that is through the roof of our mouth and things like that. So what I do now is I use tea tree because I know it's all natural and I feel a lot more comfortable using that. And so I will just drops of tea tree in a shot glass with some water. If you're not too keen on the taste, you can add 2 drops of peppermint to minty it up, and I'll swish that around. I've actually noticed my oral health has been better, and I don't get bleeding gums like I used to, which is absolutely amazing. So one of the biggest fears, if you're new to teaching classes, whether it be this class or any of the classes, is I don't know everything about the oils. You see how all I've done is shared one thing it's good for. It's good for skin, and I've shared a story. Now, if you don't have a story for each of the single oils, I share someone else's story. So just collect other stories and that type of thing as well. We need to tell them 15 different reasons you can use each of the different oils because they'll forget them all, kind of thing. What we want to do is find different uses. If you know someone has issues with acne, tea tree is amazing for supporting the skin when you get those blemishes and different things like that. So steer your class and your pinpoints around there. I hope that all makes sense. Right. When we talk about the supplements, this is really, really important. And I'm giving this one condition of you coming on this call is that you're not allowed to skip the supplements in any more presentations. Now, you don't need to be an expert on these supplements. I would really recommend if you're not on these supplements that you are, so you've got your own stories and different things like that. But there's a couple of reasons why we want to talk about this. Because the oils can do amazing things, but we need to make sure our body is getting the right nutrition each and every day. And when being the hippie that I was, I'm like, I don't need some man-made supplements when I first got involved with doTERRA. You know, if I just eat, you know, organic and locally farmed and fresh and live food and all those things, I'll get everything I need. But what I started to realize as I learned more is that regardless of what we're eating, because of the ways we farm and the way that the state of the soils, especially in Australia, but, you know, in many places, pretty much everywhere around the world, it's impossible to get all the things we need. You know, in Australia, we lack different nutrients. That's why we have certain health problems. And supplementation, although it may not have been needed by our grandparents, is basically something that we need to bring in every day. So what I love about these supplements, and I will hand them around as well so people can look at the packets and have a bit of a read. I'll say what the difference it made for me is I've always worked a lot. And my thing, I don't drink coffee, but I love Coca-Cola. And I used to drink Coca-Cola 2 or 3 times a day just to keep me going through the day. I knew I'd burn it off and all that kind of rah-rah. And when I stopped, when I started having these, I stopped craving those sugary cravings. And so that was amazing for me. What makes these supplements so special as well is they really wanted to make a top class supplement range. And so they got some of the best people in the world to actually work with these. There's a couple of things I really focused on. The first thing they made sure is they're bioavailable. And basically that's a fancy word that means your wee doesn't go yellow. Because what you'll find with a lot of supplements that you buy in the supermarket is the things they use in them are not ingestible. The body can't bring them in. For example, a lot of the calcium that is used in supplements, over-the-counter supplements, is calcium carbonate, which is limestone, which you might as well just suck on a brick for 20 minutes and you'll get the same amount of calcium as you would from that supplement. So what you'll notice is, you know, and we have some fun here, we don't get bright yellow wee when you have these supplements because your body can actually absorb them. They also have the right portions of what we actually need because different things will work in lock and key kind of ways. So for example, we can't absorb iron if we don't have vitamin C. And so if you have a mega iron but you've got no vitamin C, then you're not going to get absorb that and you'll weed that out as well kind of thing. So they've got the perfect balances. So this is where I'll hand each one round. I'll go, so the first one, this is, you don't have to be an expert on these. You know, share your stories, someone else's story, and a little couple of facts like that. And then go, this is the Microplex VMZ. This is your multivitamin. It's got 22 essential vitamins and minerals. It's really good. It's got antioxidants in it, blah, blah, blah. Don't have to be an expert. Next one, this is an amazing one. This is called Alpha CRS. This really helps with digestion. It's got lots of antioxidants, and this is your cellular health. So for me, this is a really great energy one. It helps with that, and it helps to make sure all our cells are healthy and reproducing properly so that we're feeling still live and vital for a longer time. And then we've got the EO omegas, which these are the basic building blocks that we need for our brain health, for cardiovascular health, for joints and different things like that. And our body can't create these. We need to bring these in. So the great thing about this is we've got land oils and sea oils. So we've got things like flaxseed oil and things in it, as well as some of the fish oils. And I also point out that if you're a vegan, that we do have a vegan option as well. These are absolutely amazing, and they're actually doTERRA's #1 product. So we really want to talk about these, and it's really important from a business point of view because how often do you need to buy your supplements? Every month. This is getting them ready for the second enrollment, which is the enrollment into LRP. Okay, so then we go on to a double spread, and it looks at the kits. So this is kind of this is the left-hand side, and this is the right-hand side. So I actually start on the right-hand side looking at this kit. So what I'll share is I'll say, okay, so we've looked at some of the essential oils, we've looked at some of the other things, and I want to talk to you about how to actually get them. So the most economical way to get doTERRA's oils and to get started and get these ones in your home so you can start playing around straight away is to get a kit, because these are discounted and there's some really great, they've kind of done all the savings for us, so you save some money, it's most economical, and it's got everything you need. So one of my favorites and one of the most popular is the Nature Solutions kit. And why I love this one, if you're really inspired to make a change in your life, to start detoxing your home, to start getting out all that rubbish and all those different things, then this is going to be a really great kit. It's got many of the oil, well, it's got all of the oils I talked about, plus some really great ones for sort of supporting you emotionally, cleaning the house and a whole different things. It's got that toothpaste, the hand soap, the diffuser, a box, because we need a home for our oils as well, and all that type of thing. And this is a really great one if you are really inspired to move on to detoxing your home. On the left-hand side, you'll see that the Home Essentials kit has been demoted a little bit, but I will talk about this one as well. So the Home Essentials kit, this one has got the top 10 oils. I've talked about them today, and it comes with that diffuser. I absolutely love this kit as well. It's a really great one, and this is going to be great if, you know, we send you out a document that's got 150 uses just for these 10 oils. So if this one's a really nice starter kit in that type of way as well. I then talk about the oil sharing kit, and I go, for some of you, you might have a bit of an entrepreneurial spirit about you, and that you know, you can see yourself maybe teaching and sharing the oils like I do. And I'd love to have a chat to you about after the class about this. But this is an amazing kit if you'd like to do that and kind of launch doing that, just like I have. It's got doubles of some of the most popular oils, so you've got some for yourself, but little samples where you can actually start to share the oils with other people and make a difference in other people's lives as well. And so we're kind of giving them an idea. And I say, you know, start having a look at these kits and which one maybe will stand out to you. And the bottom of the right-hand thing, it talks about LRP. And you go, so we're going to organize to get you your kit at wholesale prices. We can sort that out. But I do want to touch on the smartest way to shop with doTERRA. And it's kind of getting wholesale plus using points. And doTERRA has a really generous loyalty rewards program. We're going to go through that when I get together for your personal consult and explain it all in depth. But basically, by placing an order on a regular basis, if you choose to do that, you know, the average person we found went in their first year will get themselves about $1,200 worth of free products. So it's a really generous program, and I'm going to go through more. So I just want to plant the seed about loyalty rewards. I don't go into it too much, only because there's a lot of information and we don't want to overload them and that type of thing. That's the biggest danger when we love the oil so much. We want to vomit information on them. So just make sure they're aware of that, and it's kind of, we'll link back to that later. So on the next page, this is a really great page and a really good one just to pause on for a second. We don't want to lose momentum where they're going from their kits. But I want to let you know, when you get your kit, there's also going to be 3 brochures in there that I want to just touch on. The first one is the Live Guide. And when we get together for our personal one-on-one consult, which every member gets, it's part of the membership, we're going to go through that, and it's going to help you understand how to use the oils and how to implement them into your everyday life so they're not just sitting in a shelf and that type of thing as well. Now, what does tend to happen is sometimes as you start to use these oils, you really start to love them, and other people in your life are interested in them as well. And if you want to have a little bit of an oily get together, as you know, I love talking about these oils, and I'd love to, you know, come and hang out at your house and or at a coffee shop and share with some of the people. Maybe you've thought of someone that I was, you know, as I was talking about one of the oils tonight, thought, oh, Dad, this has really helped Dad, or this has helped my girlfriend, or something like that. Then, you know, I'd love to do that. And the share guide just shows that, hey, if you can put some water in a jug and cut up an apple for me, I'll do the rest. And it kind of shows you how we share and that great thing as well. The build guide does show that doTERRA they're not only about, you know, physical well-being, emotional well-being, even spiritual well-being, but they're also about financial well-being as well. And they do have an option where you can actually share doTERRA and do what I'm doing. Now, if $500 to $1,000 a month extra to start off with in your account would make a difference to your budget, then I'd love to have a chat with you, and we'll catch up for a coffee in the next coming week or so and go through that as well. doTERRA has some great options, and why I love this option about building doTERRA is I get to do something I love. I get to change people's lives, not only people like yourselves, but the people in other countries that we talked about at the start. And I've been able to, my partner left full-time work and now works with me full-time, and we do something that we really, really enjoy. So that's an option as well. So we just touch on those different things. We then go, okay, so here's the prices, and I'll take them straight to the wholesale customer or the wellness advocate form. Now, I know each team and each leader has different policies on how they like to enroll, which form they use. So you can take your pick on which one you want, but this is basically how I'd go through it. So this is how we set up your wholesale membership, so you can start getting your oil straight away. So you see up the top here, basically just pick the kit that you want to get. Now, there is an option up the top there where you can see there's a $35 membership. So if you just want to pick and choose a few oils, then you can do that, and you just write that on the top right-hand corner there. Why again, I really love the kits, is you've got a whole complete kit, so whatever goes wrong is you've got an oil to help you out with that as well. Now, I also like to say that with the membership, you either pay the $35 here and pick your oils, or the membership is included in the kit price, so you don't have to pay the membership on top of that. And what the membership gets you is it gets you a log on and a password to the doTERRA website. So you can jump on and order as little or as much as you want, as often as you want, for that wholesale pricing. But you're also eligible for their free promotions, their LRP program, which we'll go through again later, and all their giveaways. But you also get me, and hopefully that's another benefit as well. And what I say is I'm actually passionate about people getting oils. I'm passionate about people using oils. So I then talk about what our team does to support them, that they get their personal consults so they know how to use their oils, what we do online, what we do in person, and so on, showing them that that membership, that $35, is not just to get wholesale prices, it's to get that whole support as well. Because we don't want anyone going retail, because there's absolutely no benefit to them or us. They'll get some oils, they'll sit on a shelf, they'll use them a little bit, and so on. And point number 2 on this form, what you'll see here is you'll see, if there's something that you would like to get later and start earning some points for it, you can pop them down there, pop your details down there, make sure you put your date of birth and blah, 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 and the credit card down the bottom. And you've got both the forms there in the kit with the wellness advocate or the wholesale customer. So then what I'll do is I'll say, does anyone in the group have any questions at all that they'd like to ask as a group, and we kind of handle any questions. And I say, now what I'm going to do is I find people are in 3 different positions. 1, you definitely want to get your oils, you know what you want to get, and if that's the case, start filling out the form, and I'll come around and I've got some goodies to give you in a little minute as well for doing that. 2, maybe you've got some questions or feel, I need to clarify something a little bit more. So if that's the case, I'm going to jump on and, I'm going to come around one by one now and have a bit of a chat to you, help you fill out your forms, answer those questions. If you need to chat to your partner, we can work out, where to go from here so we can get back in touch and that type of thing. Or 3, maybe, the oils don't quite resonate for you at this point in time. Maybe you can't see a use for them in your life at the moment. But what I'll do is I'll make sure you've got my contact details before you go. So if I can ever help you out in the future, I'd love to. But I'd really like to thank you also for coming along today and having a think about your own well-being. And I hope you picked up at least some tips as well. I really love to do this because what it does is it stops those awkward pauses. We've all seen that person that has to spend half an hour avoiding eye contact with you, sitting in the toilet, hiding, or fossicking through their handbag to avoid that as well. And I'll go around and go, hey, how'd you go? Did I answer all your questions today that you listed on that top bit? Are you a 1, 2, or 3? And we can direct them. And you will get 3s, and that's quite all right. But it's a clear communication that they get out of jail card free. Plus, you don't have to sit there wasting too much time. I make sure they've got my details. I do find out why there are 3. I might be able to move them to a 2 or a 1 as well. But it's just a really nice technique that's worked really, really well for us as well. We then pop around, talk to each person, help them all enroll, making sure that they're, taking advantage of the offers. So this month we've been making sure that it's 100 PV because doTERRA's got the offer, where if you start with 100 PV offer, give them different options as well. And this is where you're a solutions provider. So this is where your job is not to just get them on the Nature Solutions Kit, it's to find out what's going to work for their budget, what's going to work for their needs, and offer them different options as well. If you get stuck on a solution for someone, this is where you've got great leaders like myself, Jonathan, Holly, Natalie, and so on. Maybe if you can quickly get us on the phone if we're not there, we might have a little idea that will help get them across the line. Because what we're passionate about here is getting oils into every home that they're going to feel comfortable with, and they're not going to have buyer's remorse and that type of thing as well. remember, I want you to think about the fact that who shared the oils with you initially, and if it wasn't for them, would your life be where it is today, and that type of thing as well. You're about to be that person for those people in front of you. So sometimes we need to be firm. Sometimes we need to go, how serious are you about, dealing with this issue that you talked about, and those types of things as well. We're still being loving and kindness. I guess it's loving firmness. Sometimes I need to do a slap and a hug kind of thing. So I hope that's given you a bit of a guide on how to work through this and run through that as well. Obviously, this is a skimmed version. I've done it in, I think I've run over my half hour a little bit. I apologize for that, but that kind of gives you a bit of a format. I'm not sure if there's any questions that the other leaders weren't able to answer that I need to touch on quickly, Natalie. Was there anything? Nope, all good. Got a shake on the head. Cool. So this is a really great guide that I'm really passionate about. I hope you have fun playing around with it, getting used to it, and sharing it with other people as well. I'm now going to hand over to my partner in crime, Jonathan, and he's going to go through the second enrollment, which is going through the Live Guide and the Wellness Consult as well. So you'll see me disappear, and here comes Jonathan.
Okay. Let me stop my share for a moment and pull up my part of the presentation. So that was really awesome. I think Adam gave us a great foundation, really the Live and Build and Share guide that myself, Natalie, and Holly are going to go through next. We don't get to these parts unless we really get that class down to a science. So, I'm glad he took a bit more time and really fleshed that out for us. It was really, really lovely. So, and hopefully you guys got some great tips for your class. So let me just grab my presentation. Be just one moment. So I'm going to go through this beautiful guide called Live. And as Adam said, this is our second enrollment. So what does that mean? And, for those of you that are new to sharing the oils, the first enrollment is they get a kit, or they start with their wholesale membership and they grab some of the oils. And our second enrollment is where we introduce them to LRP. So let me figure out how to get myself back to a screen share. There we go. It's minimized itself. Excellent. So screen share. Awesome. Oh. Of course, that's going to want to start from the beginning. Let's see. Bear with me one moment. I've got things from current slide. There we go. Awesome. So I've got the Live Guide up, and this is a really fantastic one. So we've basically gotten them their wholesale membership, and now, maybe about 10 to 14 days later, we're going to have what is called a wellness consult with them, sometimes also called, a lifestyle overview is the term they're using now. So this is really, really important that we just don't get people oils. I always like to think of this in the terms of we sold them a swimming pool, but they don't know how to swim. So we really have to take them through how to use those oils in their everyday life, because in that first class, it was a lot of information to take in. We were moving them to a kit, and now we're going to get them to bring everything that they got back to us, and we're going to show them how to use it. So we're going to turn to that first page, and it's congratulations, and it's basically getting them excited about their wellness journey. When I put these in, we really want to make sure that we've got about 45 to 60 minutes with them to overview what they do have and show them other products as well. So, we really want to make sure that they can create that time commitment, because number one, we're going to show them how to use what they have. Number two, we're going to introduce them to new things. And number three, we're actually going to show them how to place an LRP order at the end of this. So it's very important we have that good chunk of time. So this page, I don't really read off of it. I prompt myself to ask the questions that I've popped on the screen for you. So what oils are you loving? I like to find out what they're using every day. Are there any products they haven't? It's incredible how many people I get to this stage of the journey with, and and I'll ask them, you know, what have you opened? And they bring all their essential oils out, and they've not taken the lids off because they're not certain what to do. So it's okay. You can tell them, absolutely, that's fine, you haven't opened them. We're going to open them today. I'm going to show you how to use them. And this is a great question. What differences have you noticed already for the people that have used them, and anchoring them in and kind of giving them confirmation? That is so awesome. You know, I'm glad you're using the lavender every night and your sleep is really improving. So really, this is just a validation of their purchase and then telling them where we're going to go today. So page 2 is live a wellness lifestyle. And I've popped off to the right-hand side. This isn't in our brochure, but it's the wellness pyramid. So this is where this relates back to. And for those of you that are new to doTERRA, this wellness pyramid is something we've had for a while. For my tried and true doTERRians, you know, you'll be very familiar with this. And what I like to do on this page is go through and actually talk with them about their health again. You know, we always want to go back to them. It's not about what the oils are doing for us, it's what the oils can do for them. So I like to start at the bottom with the word fuel, which is eat right, and ask them, you know, we're going to go through this quickly, and I just want you to give yourself a score 1 to 10, and, you know, be honest. You know, if you're really good at eating well, give yourself a 10. If you eat green and you're organic and you make everything at home and you never eat out, awesome. But, you know, if you're eating out a bit, or, you know, maybe you have a takeaway meal, you know, move your score down a bit, but be honest, it's important. As we move up to the word soothe, that's about exercise. So really relate it back to the wellness pyramid words. I find it a bit easier. So I ask them, you know, are you exercising a lot? Do you look after yourself in that way? Do you go to yoga? Next is calm. Calm's pretty easy. That's around rest and stress management. So, you know, are you sleeping well? Is your sleep not broken? You know, are you taking care of yourself in that way? As we move up, we've got cleanse. Cleanse is about reducing toxic load. So I ask them, are you living detox lifestyle? You know, are you DIYing your own cleaning chemicals or using the most no-tox possible? Are you really, you know, cleaning out your bathroom with those yucky things that you use on your skin or on your teeth daily? And then as we move to the top, protect and restore, that's about proactive medical care and informed self-care. So I ask them, you know, are you really waiting for something to happen, or are you taking care of yourself beforehand? So I get themselves to give them a score, and I go, which one of these is the most important to you to look after? I don't try to have them look at the whole thing. I ask them, look at one, and I go, what if we can move that number a couple points up? How would that feel for you? And generally, you know, if it's sleep and somebody goes, oh, I'd love to be able to sleep better, I go, cool, we're going to show you how to do that over the next, you know, 45 minutes or so. So again, anchoring them back into what they're looking for, and you're the solutions provider. As we flip over, the first page we see is Eat Right, and I put a big star next to Lifelong Vitality. You'll see that Lifelong Vitality continues being a star of the show even after the Nature Solutions class. One of the things that I personally like to do is have the pips handy with me to be able to give those to them so they have something to read later on. What's amazing with the Australian pips, which are the product sheets that we have available, is these supplements are TGA approved. And we have beautiful information with claims that are really incredible about what they can actually do for our body, that claims that they can't even make in America because these supplements are TGA approved. So I love to point these out, you know, again, linking back to the same information Adam spoke about is, you know, eating right is so important, that the oils, they're powerful, but unless we're giving them this beautiful foundation of support, you know, we're always going to be fighting that uphill battle. So if we have fantastic nutrition at the start, the oils are going to dance and sing with our bodies even better. So linking them back to that, going down underneath, introducing them to some new oils as well. So letting them know, you know, personally, myself, I love to cook. So introducing them to the cilantro and the black pepper essential oil and telling them how I might use those in a cooking application. And again, this is opening their eyes to other products outside of what they've initially got. On the right-hand side of the page, this is a really fantastic page because it gives us some recipe ideas. So again, introducing them how to bring the oils in every day. But I put a star next to add to water because this is the absolute easiest way for people to be using essential oils daily. So, you know, I personally don't like to drink water. I know that I'm supposed to have a truckload every day. But I tell them I love adding it to my water. I actually drink a lot more water and I feel a lot better for it. So it's a great way, you know, if you're a person that doesn't drink water, a way to do that and make it flavorsome, but you also get those beautiful benefits of the essential oils that you're going through. So you might want to pause and talk about the lemon for detox, or talk about grapefruit for weight management and how beautiful that's an essential oil. So again, listening to their needs that they've given you and possibly linking a specific oil back to what they can be adding to their water every day. So this guide is literally going to take us through how they're going to use their oils every day. As we turn over to the next page, it's about resting and managing of stress. So this, I popped a little star by the diffuser because I actually see this as the most important part of the page. Again, we're talking about how we're using these every day, and this is where I like to take the opportunity to explain the diffuser and how we can use that for rest and managing our stress. So we've got the Peaceful Dreams at the top so they can make a pillow spray, but I always tell them that's an awesome blend to pop in your diffuser at night to really support a deep rest sleep. Relax in a Flash, which is your wild orange and your vetiver. You know, oh, what a great blend to pop in after you get home from work. You know, you've had a really stressful day and you just need to kind of calm your whole body down. Awesome. And Clearing Home, which has the On Garden Easier, and I talk about that for supporting their overall well-being. So, you know, if you're in an environment where there's a lot of sick people, people that work in hospitals, just interacting in the daily. You know, this is a great one to pop in, you know, all the time just to keep your immunity levels up. So again, we can talk about different solutions here and you can extend to different other products past what's on this page if you feel it's appropriate. But, you know, we're really looking at introducing them to Lavender Peace, to vetiver, using the diffuser all the time. That's what the important part of this page is. I also, you know, I popped off the side of this slide. The doTERRA Pinterest board is awesome for diffuser blend ideas. So, you know, they don't have to be an expert on blending. I know when I first got the oils, I was like, oh, what do I mix with what? Let me go find something on the internet. But that doTERRA Pinterest board is really, if you can get people onto that, their world's just going to open up to possibilities for what they can do with their diffuser, and they're going to see oils that they haven't seen before, and they're going to want to add that to their LRP order, which we'll do at the end. Following, we have this beautiful emotional aromatherapy page. And what I like to do here is, number one, if you have your emotional aromatherapy oils, and those can either be in the 5 mils or they can be in the Touch series, bring them along. The most important part of this page is they can actually smell these fantastic blends that we have available. So what I like to do here is have them think about something that happened this week that, you know, a situation where they might have not felt well or needed cheering up, or just link it to something really personal for them. And I actually get them to look at the wheel and find a word they felt during that situation, or a word that's really close to how they felt. And then I show them how easy it is to move across and then find an essential oil that's going to help support them in that moment. So let's say this week, you know, I was really, really irritated because something really bad happened, and I was really angry. So I'm going to look for angry, and I dial down, and I see the Forgive blend, and I share that with them. So that way they can learn how easy it is. Another tool that I love to bring, and this again, this is about upskilling them throughout this entire session and teaching them where tools are, is I bring that beautiful Emotion and Essential Oils book with me to my wellness consult. And I show them how to use it for all the essential oils. So again, you're training them that you're not the expert on essential oils, that they can be the expert on essential oils, and that there's this beautiful book that can help them. So again, you know, teaching them how to use what they have as well, showing them, flipping to wild orange if that's an oil that they're absolutely loving, having a read through that page with them and seeing how they feel about that. So really fantastic way to anchor them into the emotional aromatherapy. Moving onward, so this page, this is a super important page. Do not rush past this page. This is about reducing toxic load. And, you know, for me, that was quite important on our journey. But this is actually the page where we get to highlight so many products past the essential oils. So, you know, we've got cleanse with the beautiful lemon essential oil. So we've talked with them about how they have that every day in their water to cleanse. But now we're going to go look at all these other products. So we've got the toothpaste. We've got the beautiful Virage skincare. And this one's a really important one to point out. I have so many people that are absolutely shocked that we offer a full skincare package of 4 items for $99. The Virage will last probably about 2 to 3 months. So it's a fantastic value for them. Point out the hair care, and then also point out the beautiful On Guard cleaning products. Now, I said bring your oils with you. Don't bring all of this stuff to your wellness consult. It'll be absolutely overwhelming, but this is just here for you to be able to link back to them, to show them this idea of replacement spending. And I actually spend a bit of time talking with them about replacement spending. So what I do is I've actually gone to my, my Kohl's or Woolworths budget, and I go, okay, instead of going down the cleaning aisle and I'm going to get, you know, whatever cleanser that I used to use that's natural and organic and it's, you know, $14 or $15, I'm actually going to take that money and I'm going to pop it in my doTERRA budget because I'm going to trade that item out. So it's not necessarily we're spending more, just money in different places. I also point out that the fantastic thing when we buy these items from doTERRA is we're rewarded with beautiful points to buy other items as well. And I'll tell them how we're going to do that at the end, that we're going to set up an order. And if they see any of these things that they want to try, we can pop those on and they're really fantastic. Across the Reduce Toxic Load page, we have a self-care page. And this one's really, really great to inspire ideas for regular usage. So here's what I like to bring out: aromatic dressing. For those of you that are in the Food Alchemy team with Vanessa Jean, you should already know what this beautiful practice is, but those who don't know what aromatic dressing is, that's taking our beautiful fractionated coconut oil, choosing a few essential oils that we would like to use as a perfume or a cologne as a natural solution, and then doing about 5 mils of that fractionated coconut with maybe 5 or 6 drops of whatever oils we choose, and rubbing that on our bodies as a natural fragrance. So again, I teach them that, and that gives them a way to use their oils every day. I point out the little 8-vial keychain. It's a great thing that they can add to their LRP order that enables them to take their oils everywhere. You know, for some people, they love these. You know, I tell them personally, I love taking the big 15 ml bottles with me because, you know, these little bottles I find I run out really quickly. But, you know, my favorite oils I take in the 15 ml size because I just love them so much. And then linking them back into other products that we do have for self-care. So, you know, we didn't cover past tense on the initial class, so I talked with them about headaches and migraines and head tension, and then linking them to that, as well as Correctix. And Correctix is a beautiful product for if you have children or you're just very clumsy like myself. You know, it's fantastic for popping on any cuts, burns, scrapes, aches, and it's your natural ointment. So one of the things I love to do here at Self-Care as well is I always bring a few empty roller balls with me to every wellness consult, and I actually show them how to make a roller ball at that point in time. I don't make the roller ball for them. I find some nice recipes, and there's bajillions online, so you can pull together a little sheet for yourself. And I go, which one sounds interesting to you? Do you want to make this immunity roller ball? Do you want to make this sleep roller ball? Do you want to make this one? And I actually get them to open the bottles themselves, Put the oils in the roller ball and put the fractionated coconut oil in. It's about empowering them that you're not the person that's going to do everything for them. It's showing them how easy it is to use the oils every day. So it's really, really great practice to show them, you know, how to do that. As we flip over, this is the crowning glory in the Live Guide. So this is the wellness consult. So, you know, this is kind of going back to those important part in the class where we talked about our top 3 health concerns, but we're going to do it a little bit more deeply this time. So at the top, we have where it says reach your wellness goals and essential oil reference books and apps. So this is where I like to bring out the Essential Life book or the Modern Essentials book, whichever one you choose into, the Emotions book again, and you can show them apps that are relevant that you like. So that could be Droply, it could be Modern Essentials, it could be Daily Drop, whichever apps are your favorite, get them to download them right then and there. That way they have them, and then point them in the right direction to purchase the books if that's of interest to them. So now what we do is I go back to those top health concerns that they had in the class, and that could be around sleep, anxiety, it could be around screaming children, it could be around cranky husbands or wives, and I get them to pop those down. And then I actually go, you know, I'm here to help you kind of hit some of these goals on the head and find some solutions that you already have, that you got in your kit, or we might be able to find even a couple more things that might be able to help you. So what I do is, you know, the top one, I could write sleep. The goal is better sleep. And then wellness solutions, we might pop down lavender. And I go, oh, do you remember back at the rest page, there was that beautiful vetiver oil? That one's really fantastic for sleep as well. So I'd even write that, you know, write that down for them or have them write it down. So this is where they're kind of starting to open their world up to using these oils every day. As we move down, point 2 is create a daily wellness plan. And this is where I was talking about, we've sold them swimming pools, but they don't know how to swim. This is an important part, like probably the most important part of this sheet is helping them create a ritual. So when I first got the oils, you know, and I think back, I didn't really know what I was doing every day, but I started creating little rituals for myself. So I suggest, you know, we get their oils out and I look and I go, oh, you've got that lemon oil. I love having that every day in the morning in water. And we write that down, get them to pop it down because they're creating basically an exciting ritual that they're going to do every day. As we move down, then we've got take the 2 drops of frankincense every day. And if they don't have lifelong vitality, I go, hey, you know, that's something so great to have in the morning. You know, I know personally, I don't eat a big breakfast. I usually have a little bit. So I definitely need that lifelong vitality to give me really great nutrition throughout the day. And aromatic dress. So as you can see, I've done afternoon as well and evening. So this again, you know, edit it for the person that's there. So if it's a person that's, you know, a stay-at-home person, maybe they've got a morning, you know, set an intention for the day and do a diffuser. And in the afternoon, pick-me-up diffuser. And in the evening, nighttime diffuser. So do what's relevant for them with what they have, but also introduce them other things that they can bring in addition to what they do have. And point number 3, what other wellness choices could support your goals? Remember, we're not just talking about oils and products, we're talking about a total lifestyle for them. So maybe that involves meditation. Maybe that means they're going to go to bed at 9 o'clock instead of 10 o'clock. Maybe it means that they're going to take time out and go to the yoga class that they've been meaning to. So again, relating this back as a total lifestyle. You know, oils are fantastic, but they're not the solution to everything. We really have to be introducing them to a total wellness lifestyle. And then at the bottom of this, point number 4 is live empowered. And this is where I love to start creating a wish list for them. And you've got month 1, month 2, and month 3. What I actually like to do with this is for month 1, go, okay, let's find some things that are around 50 PV, you know, and that you can create an order with. And then I do a 125 and a 200 as well. So it's kind of an affordable option for whatever they want to opt into. So with the 50 PV, that's great for people that have a bit more of a limited budget. The 125, how awesome, they're going to get that free essential oil with the LRP program when they opt into that one. And the 200 is great to have them ready to go, so that way when Australia or America has a 200 PV offer, they can opt in for that and get a really amazing variety of products that doTERRA will gift them for free, plus the free LRP oil. Across from that, there's a getting started page, which is not in this presentation. That gives you kind of the essential oils and a rundown of them. So as you're kind of bouncing back and forth with ideas, you know, for instance, on that page, there's sandalwood, which is a great, you know, it says a class of fragrant woods that contain their fragrance for decades. And I talk about using that as an anchoring oil. So again, don't feel you have to stick exactly to what's on that sheet. Tell them what you use those oils for. What's on that getting started page is a bit broad, and that's just because at the moment all the oils are going through TGA process, so we can say more about them, which is really exciting. But right now we have to limit it on paper, but that doesn't mean you have to limit your story about what they are to them. So tell them exactly what you use those oils for in your life, and then help stitch that together for them. As we flip over, you've got that customize your wellness plan. And again, I've popped another big star. Here's lifelong vitality showing up again. You know, it's going to be in this brochure several times. So remember, every time you see it, you definitely want to talk to them about it. And I'll even say something really quirky. I'll go, oh, there's the lifelong vitality again. It just seems to appear everywhere in doTERRA, and that's because how important it is to your health. And this is kind of a shopping page for them. So it's 2 pages. And this is, again, where you see support nutrition, which is, you know, are you eating right? Exercise, which is, are you staying fit and what are you using to support? So maybe you've got somebody that absolutely loves to work out and they're one of those gym junkies that loves to go, look, here's 5 different products that we can pop on an LRP order that they're going to absolutely love taking to the gym with them. Rest and relaxation. I think everybody in the universe can benefit from the products on this page. We're more stressed and not sleeping better than we ever have. So at least in rest and relaxation, you can get them a few products. Reduce toxic load, again, replacement spending. So talking to them about that. And then the last is self-care, where we link them into those daily rituals of using On Guard every day, using frankincense. You know, for all the women that are on this call, Clary Calm is a must. It needs to be in your arsenal. So definitely get them on that. And share your story around Clary Calm with it. Again, this is the opportunity for you to share all the wonderful stories you have and link them to their health concern. So coming to the end of this guide, we're going to move into loyalty rewards. And again, big star, hello, lifelong vitality is here again and massive on this page. This takes up a huge third of the page. And the reason why is lifelong vitality is 60 PV. For those of you that are familiar with the loyalty rewards program, we need 50 PV in order to move our savings up from 10 to 15%, 15 to 20, and so on. So just by ordering that every month, they're going to increase their rewards every month easily. Additionally, lifelong vitality plus 2 to 3 oils is going to equal 100 plus PV order. Now, I know for me, I couldn't make up a 125 PV order on essential oils alone. You know, because of them being so powerful and me using so little, I need to add other stuff. So lifelong vitality plus 2 to 3 oils is a really manageable order for most people. And it may not be oils, it might be lifelong vitality plus toothpaste or lifelong vitality plus the Verage. So again, if we get them using lifelong vitality, and I always make sure to point out to them that lifelong vitality has a 30-day money-back guarantee. Give it a try this month. Let me know how you're going. And you know what? If you don't feel any difference, and I guarantee that you will feel a difference, but if you don't, you can actually send those empty bottles back to doTERRA and they give you your money back. You know, and I remind them, doTERRA believe in that product so much that they offer that. So I go through lifelong vitality one more time. And then kind of the bottom of that page, plus the one across, we teach them how to do a real LRP. So I make sure that when someone comes to a wellness consult with me, they either bring their tablet, so their iPad or Samsung Pad, or they bring their laptop, and we actually open it up and I show them how to log into their back office. This is absolutely important. It's probably the most important step of this guide for me. And I actually go through and I go, you see the two buttons? One is blue and it says standard order, and one is purple and it says LRP. I go, no one ever pushes the blue button because you don't earn any points, you don't get any free oils. Everyone always pushes the purple button. Be strong in your conviction when you say that, because they're going to trust you. You know, I personally have used LRP for 5 years. I know the power of it. And you guys that are on LRP, you're on it for a reason, because you love getting the products every month, because you know you're trading out toxic things for non-toxic things. So don't feel scared to tell them to place an LRP. I then get them to kind of load their carts with products from their solutions list that we created. And again, I tell them, hey, you know, you can place any amount. Don't feel that you have to stretch to 200 if that's not in your budget. I want them on LRP at any value. That can be from a lip balm to the sky is the limit, because when they're on LRP, they don't come off LRP. They just change that order every month. And I let them know, awesome, maybe you're at work and you get a bonus and you want to go, ooh, I want to splash out on some extra things in my doTERRA account, so you can raise that LRP up. And after that goes, then you can drop it back down. So it's really important to take them through LRP. And again, explain to them how by placing that order every month, they're going to get some points back, and then they move up, and they're actually going to save 55% on their oils. And again, I go back to the fact that Adam shared that, you know, people that participated in LRP last year at the 125 spend level earned $1,200 of free product last year. Like, it is an incredibly generous program. And I really underline that word generous to them. As we finish up, I take them down to the essential tips. I made sure that they've saved that LRP template that they set up, and let them know how to change it as well. Move down to your essential tips, and I really go through this one last time. I don't go through it in depth on every one of these points, but I let them know, you know, here's some effective best practices to do every day so we can, you know, use them in massage. I really focus probably on the 3 of these. The safety is the most important to me, is I always want people to have positive essential oil experiences. So I actually take out a pen and I circle this, and I really go through, you know, avoid the soft membranes of the eyes and the ears. We always want to dilute. I'm a huge fan of dilution because, well, number one, we're using less essential oils. We're keeping them on our skin longer. And again, they're using that beautiful fractionated coconut. Point out, particularly those of us in Australia, avoid sun exposure when you apply your citrus oils. I don't want anyone going out and getting sunburned during summer. And then I teach them how to read the labels so they know which ones that we can use internally. So for those of you that are in Australia, New Zealand, we can flip over the bottle and it will say, add 1 to 2 drops for flavoring use. So I show them how easy it is to know which ones we can have internally. And lastly, when we flip over on this guide, we have some really important information that you can give them. So in the top right-hand corner, make sure to write down their membership ID and password again. You know, it's something they'll always keep losing until they're converts like us. I direct them to go to doTERRA.com.au, the website, and I show them the blog as well. And again, this is where I'll point them to other websites. So if you have a personal team group that you've got through Facebook, make sure they're signed up into that. If you've got a team page, make sure they know how to get there. If you've got a favorite blending website, send them there. And then get an essential oil reference guide or mobile app. You know, this is again where we show them the books and make sure that they're armed. You know, the more we can kind of arm them up in this session, you know, we want people to be able to swim on their own and not call us constantly to go, what oil do I use for this? What oil do I use for that? when they've got these resources, they're able to take care of themselves. In the ticked box around, make sure to pop your details. You can pop other support, so this could be your upline's details as well, or whoever is your mentor that's helping you share and build your doTERRA business. Team call, website details, and then upcoming local event. This is super important. You know, the more touches that we can get people in events, the more excited people become. So if your community has a local large event, or you yourself have a upcoming make and take class, pop those details down, because the more you can kind of touch with them, the more excited they'll become, the more raving customers that you have. Also, make sure to point out the relevant country's phone number for you. I always talk to them about customer service. I love doTERRA's customer service because they're actually customer oriented. They're not for the company. You know, call them up if you ever have a problem with your order, if something's missing, if maybe a bottle's leaked, if a product's not working. Maybe your diffuser quit working after 3 months. Give them a bell. They're really kind. They want to look after us. They're here to help us. So I really stress how important reaching out to them is. And then at the bottom, you know, again, I really quickly touch base on sharing, which Natalie will go into later, and building as well. So they've had a really wonderful experience, and I ask them, I have a calendar there with me. I go, hey, you know, I've got some free dates coming up. Would you like to book in for an oily get-together with your friends and show them these beautiful essentials? Don't be afraid to ask for them to host a get-together. It's quite okay to ask. 1 in 8 people are going to build this business, but they actually have to have you ask them to build it. So it's okay to continue giving those touches on sharing and building. So just have the courage, you know, the magic happens when we move outside of our comfort zone, and this section is moving outside of our comfort zone and going, do you want to host a get together? Or, you know, would you like to grab some, you know, $500 a month? Is that going to make a big difference to you? You know, you can get your oils for free just by sharing with a few friends. So that kind of moves into where we're going to go with Holly now on building.
Okay, awesome guys. All right, I'm just going to share my screen. How amazing has this been, guys? I've got so many notes. So Adam and Jonathan, honestly, I'm just blown away. I've taken up so many tips from that. Now, when we're moving to the build guide, I know that it can be a bit overwhelming. It can make us feel like, oh, I don't really know what to say. But this just really, I'm hoping that this will really break it down in a simple way. So is everyone feeling a bit like, oh my gosh, information overload? Grab your peppermint, clear your mind. I know I certainly am, and I'm like, you know, been running classes and stuff, and it's just, yeah, it's going to be awesome. All right, so this is one of my favorite guides, guys, and there's no need to be scared of it because it's all put in a really simple way for us to guide someone through this. So this guide is designed to help your potential builder or sharer see what's really possible with doTERRA. It gives a really good overview of the company's history, the growth and the successes to date. And it sets some really realistic framework for timelines versus hours spent. You know, it's important to be quite realistic with people. So whip this guide out at any time someone asks you about doTERRA as a business or even just as an income source. So consider as well, like keeping track of where your customers are at. And if you're enrolling wholesale customers, when they get to that 90-day mark, they're loving their oils. And you have an opportunity to move them if they upgrade. So here's a really good time to kind of just touch base with them. You've been nurturing them for 90 days, and then that's when you can also ask, you know, what would $500 to $1,000, you know, would that make a difference in your household? If they say yes, that's when you can run through the build guide with them. So are you ready for financial freedom? So tell them the pipeline story. So if you don't feel confident putting it in your own words, you can really just read out the page. So, you know, the hauling the buckets, and then after many years, they built a pipeline and then they had money flowing. So, you know, with those with fixed income can really, and traditional employment can see this quite quickly, how it relates to their life. Whereas some business owners, they may take a bit more, discussion to unpack this subject, but just kind of ask them, so where are you at? So, hauling buckets is trading their hours for dollars, so do they go to work and they're only getting paid when they're at work? There's generally a limit on their advancements, their promotions and their earnings. So, your boss, your, whoever's above you, can you surpass their income? Can you, if you take over their role, will they be happy about that? So generally they want to keep you down. So kind of just, showing them how traditional business and how wherever they're working now, if they're, in the workforce, how that is hauling buckets. So, they've got limited time freedom, and they're building other people's dreams. Like, just highlight that. Like, whereas building a pipeline, and you can explain to them that you're going to explain this more in depth throughout the brochure, but, that's where the true and lasting residual income comes. There's no limit on advancements and earnings. And I love to explain to people that the way that this business model works is the people underneath you can actually surpass you. They can make more money than you if they put in more time and effort. And I think that's amazing. And it's actually in our best interest to help the people under us rather than the opposite way. So it's completely different to traditional business. And I absolutely love that part of it. So I kind of just trying to, you're trying to see where they're at and trying to see the bigger picture and how this is a much better business model. So this page is really important. So try to spend about 10 to 15 minutes on it with them. The vast majority of small business owners will say that they have residual income, yet they also will accept that if they leave their business for a few months, then they're fearful of what they'll come back to. And that, my husband had a traditional business. He earned very good money, but if he just took 3 months, it would just come crashing down. So, it's really important to share those things with people. So this page here is really about kind of showing them that it's an authentic soul business, or soulful business. That's what I like to call it. It's really highlighting why doTERRA is an incredible, genuine business opportunity. So when we get to this section here, highlight the bits that mean something to you. Me personally, I love to share how the retention rate is amazing. So the global industry average for direct selling companies is around 10%, whereas doTERRA is 65%. So, and the reason why is because we lead with a powerful product. Like, we all know that the oils change lives. So to me, that was why I even looked at the business opportunity, because I could see that the oils were changing lives. It was being of service to other people. So that's what makes this a soulful business. We're helping people. We're not just selling a product. We're not selling Tupperware or makeup. We're actually changing the way people care for themselves. And we're inspiring and sharing a wellness lifestyle. So we're actually helping people live healthier, not just using essential oils for stress and things like that. We're sharing a wellness lifestyle. So I also highlight the growth. So, doTERRA is the largest essential oil company in the world. Their growth compares to Apple. So show them the little graph. That's amazing, guys. So it's debt-free. There's no outside interest or funding, which is, again, that's really, really super important. And it's part of a $1 trillion wellness industry. So people are waking up. Wellness is becoming important to people. People are sick of feeling crappy. They want to feel good. They want to sleep better. They want to feel like they have more energy. So the wellness industry is booming. So doTERRA is part of that as well. And I also like to highlight in the growth section, and even though it's not written on the form, that only 2.4% of Australians have a wholesale account, or that's the penetration rate for households in Australia, and it's 1.1% in New Zealand, which, guys, there is so much room for growth. It's so easy for people to say, oh, everyone's got doTERRA, everyone I speak to is using the oils, and it's kind of like when you buy a new car and next thing you know, you notice them everywhere, or you're pregnant and next thing you know, everyone's pushing a pram. It's because you're just more aware of it, whereas there's actually so much room for growth here. And I love to tell people, guys, this is the time to get in, because it's going to blow up, and it's going to blow up quick. And you want to be the one that's going to get the oils in people's homes. I also like to highlight, obviously, that it's an ethical and sustainable business. So doTERRA creates partnerships, obviously, with the growers around the world, nurturing, developing economies and preserving agriculture traditions through the co-impact sourcing and healing hands. So what I actually like to do with this section is, if I'm meeting with someone one-on-one, I have my laptop out and I just quickly share a co-impact sourcing video, because that just adds a bit of ammo to it. Those videos make us all emotional, and we can just like really see the vision there. So they're seeing the bigger picture as well, not just the money, or there's just more to it. So I always like to do that. And if you're doing this online, you can do it as well. Just so they can see that it's changing the lives of people all around the globe. It's so much bigger than just us. Okay, so when we get to this section, I used to get a bit like, oh my gosh, there's so much stuff on there. What do I even like talk to them about? So you just literally, where it's bolted out. So success is simple. There's 3 simple steps to build your financial pipeline with doTERRA. So you just share with them that the most successful leaders worldwide have distilled the core activities down to actions that they know work, and there's a simple process and path to follow. So essentially, we're just using the oils, we're using the products, we're sharing doTERRA, and then we're teaching others how to do that as well. So, and I just let them know, look, all the training modules, all the reference materials and guides are available every stage of the journey. And then highlight that the core income producing activities are inviting, presenting and enrolling, which is the middle section. I just like to get this kind of out there at the beginning, because, a lot of people will spend a lot of time in the prepare section. And they're like, oh, I want to do this, but they're preparing. And then the only way they're going to actually do the business is invite, present and enroll. So just highlighting that at this stage real simply so it's out there is really, really important. 70 to 80% of their time should be invested in those activities to progress and succeed. So, yeah. So what's really possible, I love this section here as well. So use this page to show what's really possible. It's like, I remember Googling the comp plan and going, oh my gosh, really? Like, you can make that money from selling essential oils. So you can go through them, all the different ways that doTERRA pay you. But just be real. Like, people get a bit worried, like, oh, I don't want to share this because I'm not making that yet. When I was elite and premier and I whipped out this guide, I was like pointing, oh man, I'm headed here. Like, I'm going for diamond. Like, even though I wasn't earning it yet, I was honest and I told them what my plans were. And, you don't have to fake it and go, oh, because a lot of people get a bit scared because they're not earning that money yet. But even just sitting down with your diamond upline with them, or just sharing with them what you plan, what your goals are, is just really authentic and it's real. So I like to also on this page briefly share that it's based on teams and community and helping others reach their goals. So obviously I don't go into it too much, but as you can see from the graph, silver has 3 people get to elite. So you're showing them that it's in your best interest to help them, and it's in their best interest to help other people, and that's another reason why it's a soulful business. I share all the different ways doTERRA can pay us. So as soon as they begin enrolling, they begin earning money weekly. And then I briefly cover like your fast start, Power of 3, uni level and the leadership bonuses. And I say, look, there's just so many ways that doTERRA love to pay you, and that's why there's such a generous compensation plan as well. And this is a good spot to set some short-term goals with them, or intermediate goals around income levels that they need for their family. So, if they're working and they're like, I could do with that silver pay, then okay, well, that's going to be their short-term goal, because then they don't have to work part-time anymore. Just set some realistic expectations based on the current earnings for each rank. So I also say to them, guys, these are averages, and when you first hit a rank, generally your money isn't going to be what that says, because it could be a diamond that's been at diamond for 3 years, so they've got a massive team under them, so their income's going to be a bit higher. So I kind of just tell them, like, it's a bit less, but as your team grows, it becomes that, if not way more. So I know diamonds that earn over $20,000, so it is an average, and I just let them know that so that everything's realistic. So uni-level bonus, so obviously it's important to show them that over time uni-level is the most significant part of their earnings and residual income. If you're not really sure how to explain it, you can just highlight what it says. It says it's paid monthly based on team volume outside of the fast start bonus window. It gets paid 7 levels deep with the higher percentage on the lower levels, and it's dynamically compressed up past non-qualifying members. So again, if you feel like, even me, like I feel sometimes that this is all just a bit like, oof, but I just say, look, let's watch a video on YouTube of dynamic compression, and other people just have really good ways of explaining it. So we go into that as well, and just, we can direct them to YouTube. You don't want to overwhelm them, even though everyone on this call is probably overwhelmed from all the amazing information. So this part here, so use this page to go deep into what people are really after in their life. So this section here, this bit here, you know, a powerful question to ask is, what would you love to have more of in your life? Okay, so, you know, perhaps they want to be debt-free, they want lots of, you know, they want a generous savings account, or maybe they just want to build their dreams, they want more time freedom, they want to do what they love, they want, you know, they want to spend more time with their family. So this section is really about listening and taking a genuine interest in what the person wants for themselves and their family. And this is a really good time to kind of dig deeper and uncover the reasons behind their why, or what their why might be. A person can come up with a million excuses about how something can't be done or it won't work, but if you can get their why unpacked, then that will be something that can't stand in their way. So when they're striving for something because they want to create that life, then yeah, the fears go out the window and you just kind of keep pushing through. So this is a really good time as well to highlight the difference between where they're currently at and what a life with doTERRA might look like. And it's important to help them set realistic expectations that won't lead them to dissatisfaction and failure. So the next page is amazing for setting realistic goals. You know, if they want to get to diamond in 3 months and they only want to put in 5 hours a week, it's probably not realistic. So kind of just working through the next section and asking them their timelines and things like that. It's just going to, you know, set them up for really, setting them up for success really. So here is all about, setting the realistic expectations, the 3 different pathways, and then they get to choose their pace. So here you ask how many hours per week they can commit, so that obviously you can set your realistic goals, and explain each pathway, outlining activities that are required and the expected time frame. So what I do is I say, look, you know, so the first section here is someone that wants to pay for their product. They just want to be a sharer. That, you know, generally they can expect to get to elite to premier in 6 months. They will put in around about 3 to 5 hours a week, enroll 2 to 4 people a month. They host a couple of classes and they enroll their friends and family. And then the next one is someone that really wants to supplement their income and they want to become a builder. So this person will get to silver or gold in around 1 to 2 years, putting in about, you know, 10 to 15 hours a week. You know, these people are going to enroll at least 4 customers a month, if anything a bit more, and then a builder monthly as well. They're going to run 2 to 4 classes a month. They're going to commit to personal development and professional development, and they're going to start mentoring their growing team as that starts to pop up. And then you've got the third part, which is the most exciting part to me, you know, and these are people that want to really replace their income and they want to become a leader. And I tell them, say, look, the whole leader thing might freak you out because, you know, if someone told me in the beginning I was going to be a leader, I would have run for the hills. I was like, but these are things you learn over time. You learn to, you know, face your fears. You learn to just become a bit better, and then you just help people follow in your footsteps. So these people are someone that they're committed. They are going to get to diamond plus in 1 to 2 years. They're going to be treating this more as a full-time business. They're going to be putting in, you know, 15 to 30 hours a week. They're going to be enrolling at least 8+ people a month and 2 builders monthly. They're going to be running at least 1 class a week. They're going to be daily committed to personal development and professional development, and they're going to mentor their growing team. And generally, these are the people that are going to help 4 to 6 people achieve their dreams. So they're going to have a team of leaders that are going to want to get to diamond as well. And that's where the real fulfillment comes, guys. So I kind of I explain it to them, and then I ask the person to indicate which pathway they think for them is going to fit in with the time frame, their commitments. You know, what hours can they put in? What do they want to achieve? Sometimes they want to go and chat to their support network, their partner, and then you can agree to chat again later. Or sometimes they say straight away, yep, this is what I want to do. And I'm like, awesome, let's get the ball rolling. So I love this page because it's really setting a realistic expectation as well. Okay, so then the next page is about just the 3 steps to launch their business. So depending on what pathway they've chosen as well, kind of depends on which one kind of pushed the most. But obviously step 1, generally they're already loving their oils and they're already living the wellness lifestyle. They've already had the live overview. They're already raving fans. But really it's time to shift from, you know, the discussion around this, and it's kind of, you really want to get some planning and some action steps in place. So step 2 is for those, you know, the share guide is a great resource to help them through successful sharing and inviting them to their first class. And again, if they've kind of just indicated they want to be a sharer, then awesome, we'll lead them to this one. But if they're like a really like, yeah, I want to be a leader, I want to replace my income, then the launch guide is amazing for that as well. So you would probably use the share guide and the launch guide together. But yeah, so step 3 would be your next meeting is a perfect time to introduce the launch guide as a framework or a plan for ongoing activities needed for success, or to really launch their business with a bang. So that will help them, you know, 30-day goals, 60-day and 90-day goals. But it's just, you know, really kind of just getting clear with what they want. Don't be afraid to ask them, what do you want? You know, I'm here to support you where you're at. You don't have to be a builder if you don't want to be. If you want to be a sharer, sweet, let me help you get your oils for free. But, you know, just really being authentic with them and telling them, I'm here to support you. You can be 100% honest with me, and I'm here to help you, guide you in any way you want to go. So the next part is the names list or the freedom list. So this page is only got 30 people on there. Is it 30? I can't even see properly. So it's only generally enough people to fill their first class. So what you could do is, if they're go-getters and they're like, yeah, I want to do this, what you could do is you can photocopy this page and give them 10 sheets. And it's amazing what can happen when you give them a whole bunch of sheets, they come up with a lot more names, trust me. It's just going to really help them create some armor for their confidence as well. So if they have a little list and then they invite them all to their first class, then they think their network's done and they can quickly become discouraged. Whereas if they've got a massive list, then they can feel a bit more confident. So guide them through how to create a list of everyone they've met from birth until today. Now, and then you're going to help them filter that list for their first class, because you're not going to have them invite, you know, the neighbour from when they were 3 years old to an essential oil class, because they're going to be like, what, I haven't heard from you in how long? And you want me to come to a class. It's not going to be done like that, but it's kind of just a refresher. And if anything, it also creates like a reconnection list of people they can start reaching out to and reconnecting with as well. But it just kind of gets the brain going anyway. So the names list is important. You know, if they're go-getters, give them some extra pieces of paper, and it's their freedom list. It's what's going to set them free. So I love it. Okay, that's it from me, guys. I'm going to pass you over to Nat for the hosting overview, which is an awesome guide as well. I've probably rushed through it, but that's okay. That's how I roll. I hope I haven't confused you.
Perfect. No, that was awesome. We've caught up on time, so brilliant. Right, we've still got Holly's screen up, so let me just, cool. Get mine up. Cool, I think that's working. Look, I know, guys, this is a lot to take in, even like Holly said, for us. So stay with us. We're nearly there. The share guide's actually not a big guide, so it won't take me long. I'm like Holly, I'll zip through it. And if we have time at the end, we're going to do a little Q&A for you, we've decided. Right, what is the share guide? It's actually a hosting guide. So the main place where I use it is where you follow on from the build guide discussion. And what you're doing with this guide here is you're teaching the action steps. So we're teaching that new builder how to invite, how to share, how to sample, and how to host a class, an event, or a one-on-one. So I love it because it's all about the action steps. Now, ideally, how I like to do it, if I've had the build guide discussion like Holly just went through, I absolutely think that if you can then go straight into the share guide, it's the best way to do it. And the reason why I think that, because you know what it's like with yourself in this business. If you've got all of, I'm going to do this and it's going to be amazing and all of that, and then if you leave that gap of, oh, we'll go on to the next stage, a week from now or whatever, you know what it's like, the momentum goes down. So after I've had that build guide discussion and they're committed, I like to get this share guide out and go straight onto that. I just find that momentum, you know, you get the classes booked, you get them starting to invite. Look, if they can't do it, if time's an issue and they can't do it, that's fine. But in that case, don't leave it too long, right? Ideally, the next day would be perfect if they can't do it at the same time. The other time where you might use this share guide is that you might have someone that's not actually committed to building, right? They might just be one of those people that says, you know, I'm more than happy to host classes for you, but I am not building, right? We've all had those people. So this guide here is really handy for those people, because you'll see it will teach them how to actually host classes a lot more effectively for you, and it does actually open up their eyes to possibly building. So how I go through this with someone: sit down with them, usually after the build guide, and basically it's all about putting it in your own words, right? And this first section here is we are just letting them know that sharing comes naturally. And by that, we're creating that atmosphere where, you know what, this is not going to be hard slog, something that you don't enjoy. It's going to be something very simple and natural and easy if you follow what I'm going to talk about. And then here you can just go through why you might share doTERRA, especially if you've had that break, right? So you might be wanting to empower others, you're going to earn rewards, and you might be creating an income. I wouldn't spend a lot of time here if you've gone through the build guide, okay? It's just really reinforcing that. Now, what we do here is we're actually helping them create a list of people. But this is people that they want to invite to their first classes, one-on-ones or events, right? So this is their first invite list. So you sit down with them and you get them to start filling out the people that are their priority to invite to these first classes and that they're going to hold. So it's most likely going to be their closest friends and their family and that. And what we want to make sure that we really reinforce here is that the invite list should be twice, I would even say minimum twice, as long as the number of people that they want to attend, because not everyone is going to be able to make that first class or one-on-one or event, however they're doing it, right? So really get them thinking about who they want to invite and make sure that they have a lot of people. The great thing about this is that if someone has made it to their first class, that name can be taken off this list. They can then refer to this. If, you know, Susie can make it to that first class, well then they've got this list here so they can be invited to the next one, right? Oh, this is my favorite section of this guide, because this is teaching people how to invite effectively. And this is so, so crucial. So I wouldn't, again, it's quite wordy. This is a wordy guide, right? So again, I would be summarizing this to the person in front of me, my new builder, in very simple language, but then letting them know that there's actually script here that they can follow, okay? So this is something that they can refer back to as they are inviting people. So what we're saying here is, you know what, the first step in inviting effectively is sharing an experience. And you can share an experience by simply sharing how the products have helped you with a friend or a family. Or maybe you're going to sample before a class. So you're sharing an experience might be sampling. And I love it because it actually says if you're going to sample, you have to follow up. You have to follow up. And there's more on sampling later, so we'll go into that. You'll also notice down the bottom here, what they've done is they've given you prompts on how to share the business as well. So even for us seasoned builders, and most of you are on here because you've been building for a while, if you are in a position where you're sharing the business instead of the actual product, here is something that you can follow as well, which is it's so handy. So this is something I'm going to be using myself all the time. The second step, so I sit down to them, I'm like, okay, after you've shared an experience with these people that are on your list, so whether you're just, you know, reaching out to them and saying these oils are amazing, the second thing we're going to do is we're going to invite them. We're going to invite them to this presentation that you've set up with them. And what we need to do here, what I really emphasize with my host is that, and I do it the same even if they're not a builder, is that these invites need to be personal. So I love it because it's actually, again, if you're a script person, here's a script for you to follow. And by personal, I mean that a Facebook event does not count as an invitation. And I tell all my hosts that a mass Facebook event or a mass text message that isn't personal, that doesn't count. And I say, you know what? I've probably, while I've been sitting here with you, I've probably been invited to 10 Facebook events, and I literally have no idea because Facebook doesn't tell me all about them. And I get so many notifications that I don't see them. So if you send out an invite to a class that way, firstly, people are not going to see them. And secondly, they're totally impersonal, right? You just know that you're being added to these events. What I do say is that what I want you to do is learn to either personally call if people are into calling, or personally message, or hand out invites at classes as long as it's personal. And you can definitely set up a Facebook event, but use that more as a reminder and more as a place to get people excited about the events. Okay, and all of that is there for you. If you forget what I've told you, then it's all here for you. Then step 3, what we're going to do is you're going to remind them to come. And it's suggested here that what you do is 2 days before the event, you give them a reminder. Again, make it personal. And by personal, it doesn't need to be a 1-hour call. A personal message is even so much more, personal than just a mass thing. So give them a reminder 48 hours before, and then 2 to 4 hours before. I don't know if you guys do this, but if you don't do it, I recommend it. Send them another reminder. And a really good tip is, I think I got this from Jonathan and Adam actually, is when I now remind people 2 to 3 hours before, I send them a text and I say, make sure you're on time, firstly to enjoy the treats that I've made, and secondly to be in the draw for the door prize. So if you guys do the little entry slips at your workshops, which a lot of us do, if you actually, when you remind people to come, if you let them know that to be in the draw for the door prize, they actually have to turn up on time, I tell you what, a lot more people turn up on time. So I coach my person to invite that way, and it's all here for them if they need a reminder. The next page in our share guide it's really, and I love it, it's really just again stressing that you can share anytime and anywhere. So we've moved away from that formal class that we've set up, and now what we're doing is you're telling this builder in front of you that you can actually, outside of the class environment, you can be sharing anytime, anywhere. Okay, and you can share your story, you can share your oil experience, you can share a sample, and you can share online. Again, quite wordy, so I'm like Holly, I break it down into my own words and talk to them like just like this. Please, I'll say please, you got to be ready to share. So one way that you can be ready to share is you can carry samples with you, which I recommend that all of my builders do. And it's telling you exactly here what some popular things to put up in your bag, in a little keychain thing. And what I really, 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 really stress on this page is that because you can already see the little fears in their head, you know, popping up that, you know, they might actually have to be talking to friends and that about oils. Really, it's natural, but you're going to have to be brave, right? You're going to have to get out of your comfort zone. And I just really do stress to them that even if you offer a sample to a friend, or you know, invite a friend to a workshop, the very worst thing that they could say to you is a no. And a no is not that they don't like you and that they're never going to talk to you again. It's simply a no to that workshop or that sample. It's no different to someone offering me a piece of chewing gum. No, thank you. I don't want your chewing gum right now, okay? So just remember that these are brand new builders that you're going through this with. So it can be a little overwhelming, and those fears are likely to be popping up in their head. And that's just, these Healthy Can Be Simple guides are not here yet, but they will be coming. And again, how amazing is this? This guide is going to actually show you how to sample properly. Because what's going to happen is you've gone through the build guide, they're all excited, they're launching their business, you've told them that sampling is really amazing, which it is, and what they're likely going to do, because this is what a lot of us did, is they're just going to be handing out samples willy-nilly to everyone, right? So this is telling them how to sample really good. So I just say, look, when you're sampling, don't get into the habit of just handing out samples. Follow these guidelines here. You know, you try and personalize your samples. You try and sample oils that are going to have a quick impact. So things like easier. We want to give instructions to people when we sample them. And I go through a little bit more detail. And you really need to follow up when you give samples. And I'm like, this is a business, guys. Don't get in the habit of giving out hundreds of samples and being too afraid to follow up, because it's just a waste of money. The other thing that we do really, really well in my team, and this is just a little tip, and I do tell new builders when I'm going through how to sample, is we actually, if they can afford it, or if, you know, as your upline, you can lend them a spare diffuser. And what we do in our team is we actually sample sometimes with a diffuser and, you know, some easier or whatever, and we give that to someone to try in their home. And then 2 days later, you can go and collect that. And I find it's really good for new builders because, firstly, giving someone a diffuser and an oil works really well as a sample, because you know what it's like. Once you start diffusing, it's very hard to give back a diffuser that's not yours. You want a diffuser. And the other thing is that follow-up for a new builder is a lot easier because they need that diffuser back. So that's another thing that you can add in there. Now, this section here, share your story. What I'm sitting down here as I'm going through this with my new builder is I'm just starting to get them to think about how they're going to approach people. But, you know, when we say share that experience, and really there's some prompts here. So I'll sit down with them and I'll just say, you know, what led you to doTERRA? You know, and it's normally, oh yeah, my friend was using them and I wanted some help with blah, blah, blah. What positive experiences have you had so far? And how have these products changed your life? And I'm just like, you know, I'm getting you to write this down because people are gonna want to hear your stories. You know, like Jonathan was saying, it's all about our stories and how they've impacted us. Now, what will happen here, I find that sometimes you've got a brand newbie that they haven't had a lot of experience yet with the oils. So their story may not be meaty, right? And that's fine. What I do is I still get them to fill this in. And all I say is that what we'll do is we can revisit this. We can revisit this in a few weeks when you've had more experience with the oils. And in the meantime, you can bring in other people's stories as well. Okay, so they don't feel like they have to have this massive, you know, life-changing doTERRA story. Similar how Holly said with when we're talking about the income, right? It shouldn't stop anyone from sharing their experiences and talking about it, but you can bring in other stories. And then this is the hosting overview, basically. This tells your person how to host a one-on-one or a class. And it's so self-explanatory, guys. I'm not going to go through it. I definitely don't read this out with the person. If you want, you can. I highlight the main things, right? You know, for a class, make sure it's here for you, you know. Make sure that we're there in plenty of time. Invite extra people. Provide the water that we've talked about. So this gives them guidelines. And this is really good, like I said, for people that may not be building, but are just hosting a class. And often they'll say, what do I have to do? What do I need to do? What's my role in preparing for that class? Give them that share guide, briefly go through them, and then they've got that share guide in their hands as well, because then they're going to flick through the rest. Really, really stress to your new builder that this is the perfect timeline, and try and adhere to that as much as they possibly can. So invite, 48-hour reminder, 2 to 4 hour reminder, they hold the class, and then you go through that live guide. I love this part as well, and this is definitely if you're not using this yet, this was in the Share Success, it is brilliant. And basically it's what, as a host, what is your role? And what this basically does is that it's giving your host an action plan, so they know exactly what their role is in a class, because their role is very, very important, even if you're holding their first classes. So basically I say, look, when your first classes happen, I'm going to teach them, that is fine, and you're going to, you know, over time we'll get you doing them as well. But what you're going to need to do is you're going to have to introduce me. So this is this edify and share. And I would love for you to just share a little bit about why you got started and your experience so far. And that is where you refer them back to where we've written that out with them, right? That's why it's so important. Look, if they're a first-time host or, you know, builder, this may scare the bejesus out of them, right? Especially getting up in front of friends and all of that. So just, this is what I say. I'll come early the first time and we'll do a little practice, right? It doesn't need to be long, just 1 minute. Your role as your host, I sit down with them and I'm like, your role is not just to sit back and listen to me and then watch me run around like a mad woman trying to get to everyone. As soon as I finish that presentation, I would love for you to help me go around to everyone and help them fill in their forms. Okay? I think it's really, really important. And you know what? It makes them feel special as well. This page, if you go through it with them, they have a role, guys, and it makes them feel important, and there's no guesswork or anything. I say, you know what? I understand that you probably don't know all of the kits and everything, but even if you can go around and help people fill in their details and get an idea for what they want, then I'll come around after, and they have a special role. And you know what? If they end up actually getting someone to choose their kit and fill it all in, how special do they feel, right? And then your other role is that after the class, after we've got all the enrollments, your role is to actually enter those enrollments. and you're going to be doing the lifestyle overview or the wellness consult or whatever. I'll probably be there for the first couple. So you'll be the one that's actually the follow-up, the person that they go to. And the other thing that I love here is, and you can say this to your host, the other thing that I really, really want you to do is 24 to 48 hours after we do that workshop, I want you to connect with anyone that didn't turn up and invite them to your next class, or anyone that didn't end up signing up on the day, add them to your group or whatever you've got happening on Facebook and keep in contact with them, okay? So they know their role there. And again, there's a section here for sharing the business as well, which I won't go through. But it's there for you for those that are doing business presentations. And this guide, how quick is it? This is the very last page of the guide. And I love that they've put this here. So this is for, if you're going through the share guide, this is perfect if at the end of a class, you've got someone who's just hosting for you, right? So they've not actually committed to building. So at the end of the class, you can go, well, so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so enrolled. So we're going to put them under your name. As long as you're on a monthly order, you're going to earn this much commission. See, it's already opening up their eyes. And that means that your next order is paid for. You know, so this is why they put this here. They're opening up that opportunity again for people. And the other thing that this also encourages that person in front of you, that host, to do is to book another class, right? Because once they see the financial benefit of doing the one class, they're more likely to book another. So this is also a good opportunity for you to book in another class with them. So that's basically the share guide. It's very, very, very concise and small, but it's got so much information in there, and it's one of those ones that your builders will refer back to. From here, if there are a builder, like Holly said, you would probably move on to the launch guide, which will be coming soon. But at least you've got everything that you need for your builder to actually start getting those classes done, start seeing immediate results, and then they'll continue to book in the classes and that. Right, I hope that helped. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to get back to my main screen. I'm going to stop the recording. So for those that are listening to the recording, thank you so much for watching. We hope that that helped. Holly is trying to get off the screen, I think.